In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to clean a hacked site when your hosting account has been suspended. This is different than the tutorial from a couple weeks ago. In that one, the hosting account was quarantined, or the site was quarantined inside the hosting account. The hosting account was still active. In this one, the hosting account is disabled, and we have to contact the host and have them help us through this process. I'm going to show you how that works in this tutorial. We're going to clean up the hosting account and the hacked site as well, and we're getting started right now. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. It's Bjorn from WPLearningLab, where we help you get better at WordPress so you can earn more for yourself, for your clients, and for your business. If it's your first time here and you like WordPress tips and tricks and getting better at it and serving your clients better, then start now by clicking subscribe. Click the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything. And make sure you sign up for the private WPLearningLab Facebook group where we can hang out, ask questions, help each other get better at WordPress. There's a link in the description down below, so make sure you check that out. And with that out of the way, let's head into the screen capture.
A couple weeks ago, a site was hacked, so I was able to do a video on how to fix the hacked site. Now, it was hacked in a way that my host detected it. They quarantined the site files, but didn't actually show an account suspended. Like you see here, I was still able to access the cPanel for the site. I was still able to do everything I needed to do to fix the site without contacting support. Now, I said in that video, which is linked to above if you want to see it, but I said in that video that I was going to replace all the plugins to make sure there's no backdoors. After I finished recording the video, I didn't actually do that. I got distracted, life happened, I didn't actually replace all the plugins on the site, and now there was a backdoor and the site got hacked again. But now we have a traditional hacked site warning, which in this case is account suspended, host detected the hack, took the site down. They didn't quarantine it like they did last time. They just said your account is now suspended. And at this point I can't do anything. I can't access the admin. If I go into my hosting account and I try to go into the cPanel is inaccessible. This is InMotion hosting, by the way. The entry highlighted in red is the one that's suspended. Click on cPanel and we cannot access our cPanel. The login does not work. So what we have to do is contact the host support, which I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to go to Get Support instead of InMotion. And today is a Sunday, by the way. If you look up here on the right, it is Sunday, February 11th. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be online. Usually I would call them, but because it's much easier to record a chat than it is a phone call in the way I'm doing my recordings, I'm just going to launch chat and see if I can get on chat on a Sunday. And I think it's going to be possible. I'm going to use choose the tech department. Type of technical support you need. Can't access cPanel. My name. Email. Which domain is this for? factorx.co. Account is auto-verified. What may we help you with today? So I'm just going to say that my site was hacked, my account was suspended, and I need help accessing the cPanel to clean up the hack. I'm just going to copy this because sometimes the agents see this at the very beginning, sometimes they don't. So instead of retyping it later, I'm just going to copy that. And we're going to see what we do here. We're going to see if the chat agent is helpful and lets us unlock our site. Another thing they often do is they will give you a list of compromised files, which is super helpful, makes your cleanup a lot easier. And I'm going to request the cPanel to be unlocked and the list of possibly hacked files so that we can make our cleanup a lot easier. I'm currently queued in position 7. I'm going to pause this video until I'm online with the agent. So now we have a chat representative online. I've blanked out his name because I think it's the right thing to do. He doesn't really know I'm recording this, so I don't want to record his name. Anyway, now I'm talking to him and I'm going to see if I can get, again, my site cPanel unlocked and a list of compromised files. So in that first statement, he's saying he's very sorry that we're having hacked issues. He's trying to relate to my situation and probably understand how frustrated I am, even though I'm not really. I've been through fixing hacked sites enough times where it's not really an issue anymore, but a lot of people would get very flustered by it. And hopefully after watching this video, you will never be flustered by it again, at least not after the first 5 times you fix a site. So I'm just going to wait till he's done typing, and then I will, actually I'm just going to say hi. Hi. Thanks in advance for your help today. Oh, here we go. Fortunately, the only ones who can unsuspend this account would be our systems administrator team, and they're not available via chat. You need to call or submit a ticket for them to look into this for you. I do apologize. So when I said earlier that I normally call on the phone, maybe this is why. Because it turns out they can only unlock the site over, or unlock the cPanel over the phone. So I'm going to pause this video again. I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to get the cPanel unlocked, and then we will carry on with this video. Say, okay, thanks. No problem. I will give them a call right now. Thanks. And then end the chat. Send myself a transcript because that's always fun. Now I'm going to call them, and when I unpause this video, hopefully we'll be back in our cPanel. Just got off the phone with the hosting account with their security tech support, and he said that he's unsuspended the account and put a list of files that they thought were compromised into a folder on the server. So we're going to check that out. First, I'm going to see if I can refresh this page, and the account's unsuspended, so the page should come back. It currently does not, so we have to delete this file. Either way, let's head into our cPanel because now it's not highlighted in red anymore. So we should be able to click this and log into the cPanel account. And we're into cPanel. Let's head into the file manager. Let's head into public_HTML. Let's see what's in there. And we have all of our site files back. So this could actually be a caching error. Or, hang on, maybe I should just go to the root domain. That'd be even smarter. Hey, so the site is back, no longer suspended, but we do have some errors in the WooCommerce plugin specifically, and some of the WP includes. So we have a little work to do to clean this thing up. Now the first thing I'm going to do is check the quarantine folder. This is our public folder where the site is. Quarantine may have some additional things in there. There's nothing in there right now. There's another quarantine folder. Actually, let's check this one. Okay, here's some more quarantine. These are some files that they found that they have removed from the site because clearly these are not real files. And if you edit these, or sorry, if you click on those and click on edit, we see there's a bunch of gibberish inside these files, more than likely. Yeah, so that's not real code for a site. This is a compromised file that does something that they're trying to hide. They're obfuscating what the code does. See, you don't know what it does, but it's clearly not a file that's normal. Now, if we check the date stamp for this one, we may have a list here, the scan log right here. This is going to be what their scans picked up as being hacked. So if I click on edit, and the guy on the phone, he told me where to find it. So if you're talking to your host on the phone or your client's host on the phone, they'll tell you where to find it. So this file contains a couple of things. It contains all the items, all the files that it thinks were compromised. Here we have a malware section. So these are files where the system, the hosting system, thinks there's malware in a file. Here we have T-stamps for timestamps. These are all the files with a recent timestamp change. So if you updated a plugin just before you're hacked, you would have something probably in this timestamp column. And there's a bunch of updates I did. Like I said in that previous video, I updated some of the plugins, but not all of them. So there's a lot of timestamp changes from that plugin or from those plugin updates. All right, so we're at the bottom. We have the timestamps and just the malware. That was it. We have these files that sound kind of weird. user/freedoms.php. I don't know about that file. Go check that one out in just a minute. But if you get this scan log, you might have very different stuff in here. And specifically, you may have, let's see, the scroll bar back, more files that look like this. And you can go in, and this is in the public_HTML site folder, this file, which they may have already quarantined, but if we go to our public_HTML, there is no site files folder, so that one has been removed. Go to WP content, uploads, assignments. WP content, uploads, assignments, and there's a file called SFS, and it's not here. However, this file is not legitimate, and probably all of these aren't. So let's click on edit and see what file this is. or what's in the file. And this is not legitimate code. And this one likely is also illegitimate. You usually tell because the code's written by random characters or written full of random characters, and all this is doing is echoing out the word test. That's not helpful to anything, so we're just not going to worry about that one. We're going to delete it. This is hacker code, not hacker code, compromised file. This one here is probably the same thing or something similar. Quite often when you see base 64 underscore decode, there is something wrong because base 64 is used to encode files. WordPress itself is not encoded. So if you have some function that's encoding something, there's a good chance it's not supposed to be there. Not always true, but there's a good chance. I'm going to delete all these files. Before I do that, let's do step one. Let's back up everything, because even though the site was compromised, we can break it further without knowing it until it's too late. So instead of breaking it further, not having a backup, I'm going to select all the files and create a backup just to make sure, just to be safe. So I'm going to call this file pre-cleanup backup. I'm going to wait for that to compress. Now we have a zip file, which is right here. I'm going to go ahead and download that to my hard drive. And while that's downloading, I'm going to start by deleting those files that we found in the uploads folder. Let's go to uploads, assignments, and let's just delete all of these. The assignments folder is supposed to be there. That's part of the LearnDash system because you can have assignments in LearnDash, but those files were not supposed to be there. So what I'm going to do is actually first I will replace all of the site files, all the core WordPress files, with brand new ones. And the way I do this is I first go to wordpress.org. And because we have a backup of all the files, I feel a lot more secure. I'm actually going to go make a backup of the database as well. It's going to download WordPress to our hard drive, go to our phpMyAdmin, open our database, and just go to SQL tab. Go to the export tab. Do a quick export. Now we're going to have a file that contains the database. So we're covered. Just in case anything goes wrong, we can revert back to at least something. Even though it's hacked, it's still something. It's better than losing everything. So now the next thing we're going to do is delete everything that's not a core WordPress file. Now if we go back to our site is currently broken. So if we delete stuff, it doesn't really matter because it's not there anyway. And we have a backup of everything, so we can restore the backup if we delete the wrong things. But chances are very good that we will not delete the wrong things. Because what we're going to do is something smart. We're going to open the zip file that we downloaded from wordpress.org, and we are going to compare the folders and files in this wordpress.org zip file to the folders and files we have on our server. So we have, let me arrange these a little bit better. So we have 3 folders in our WordPress files, the fresh WordPress files: WPAdmin, WP content, and WP includes. I'm going to delete WP content because that is where all of the stuff goes that we customize our site with. That's where themes go, plugins go, uploads go. We don't want to replace that because then we might as well start over from scratch. And WP config -sample isn't a live file, but we want to not replace that anyway. So all the remaining files, these are the ones that are fresh that we can upload to our server. So if we compare this file list, all the PHP files, to the PHP files we have on our server, we can see which ones are supposed to be there, which ones aren't, which ones are core WordPress, which ones aren't. And mine are organized by date, unfortunately, in my little finder here, instead of by name. And I've also memorized all the WordPress files, so I don't really need to look at these. But you can compare your files here to the files you see on the server. And I'm just going to go ahead and delete all the ones that I know to be core WordPress files that I'm going to replace in just a minute. I'm going to keep the htaccess file because that changes from site to site. licenses. This is a text file, so text files usually aren't compromised. It's not really executable on the server, so text files are usually okay. But now that I have all those files I'm going to replace selected, I'm going to compress them. I'm going to say core, compromised core file backup. Because I'm sure some of these files in this backup are going to be compromised. I don't know which ones, but some of them more than likely are. And now I'm going to compress all these files. And again, we deleted WP content, WP-content, and WP-config-sample because we don't want to replace those. So I'm going to upload this archive to this root folder. It's going to go to uploads, drag and drop it into the dash box. Once it's uploaded, we can close that tab, reload this folder. Now we have our archive, we have our backup, we have the big backup. And now I'm going to delete everything except for WP-config, htaccess, WP content, and not archive, and not this one, and I'll save that one. So I'm going to save all my backups, but I'm going to delete all the files that are part of the WordPress core, and I'm okay doing this because I have 2 backups now of these things. Click on delete, confirm. Now all those files are gone. Now if we refresh our page out here, we're going to get something else. We get a list of files in here. That's fantastic. This archive now, I'm going to uncompress it by clicking on it, extract, extract files, and I'm going to delete this WordPress OS X one and delete the original archive just to keep things clean up as we go along. Now if I come out here and refresh this page now, we still have these errors, but we know that our site files, the core files, are clean. So now we're going to check out the WooCommerce plugin. There's something wrong with that plugin. In fact, there could be something wrong with many plugins. So what I'm going to do is go to plugins. And there are quite a number of plugins on the site for some reason, but I'm going to replace all the plugins. And in fact, I'm just going to rename WooCommerce to deactivate it. Let's just call this -off. So that should be deactivated. Now if I refresh out here, we should be rid of those 2 errors. We are, and the site's back online. So there's an issue with the WooCommerce plugin that's keeping the site from functioning. So let's see if we can log into the dashboard now. We're into the dashboard. Everything's gravy in here. So what we've discovered now, if we can get back to where we were, WooCommerce has a problem, but a lot of the other ones may as well. The timestamp for the last modified is February 2nd. This guy was modified February 2nd. So is this. 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 And that's a problem because the plugin that broke the site was modified February 2nd and all these other ones were as well. That could be an indicator that those are compromised. Now if we open these, let's just open this one. See if we can see some strange file names like we saw in the compromised folder. If you can click through and find all these, when I first started learning how to clean up hacked sites, I would literally go into every folder and look at every file. That was very time consuming. Now I've become smart because most of these plugins, in fact every one of these plugins, you can download the files from the internet. So the Akismet plugin is a standard WordPress plugin. If I go to wordpress.org and click on plugins and look up Akismet, Akismet plugin is right here. Click on the name to open it. Click on download to download the files. Now we have the Akismet files on my computer, on my hard drive. So I can come back in here, turn this one to, actually not yet. First I'm going to upload the new one. Click on upload. And then got a lot of stuff open here. Drag and drop Akismet, upload it, reload this folder, push the wrong button. Now we have the Akismet plugin right here, and we have the old Akismet plugin here. So I'm just going to change the name of this plugin to off. That will turn off that plugin. I'm going to uncompress this one, or extract it. And let's reload. So we have the new version of Akismet here. And I'm going to delete the zip here. And here's another indicator that this may be compromised, this plugin itself. It was last modified February 2nd, but the version we pulled from the WordPress repository was last modified, December 18th. So somebody else, not the plugin developer, something else modified this plugin, which is not good. That's a red flag, an indicator that there could be something in here that's compromised. So once this plugin is up there, you can either delete this one or keep it until you've tested the site thoroughly. But what you need to do is go through every single one of these plugins. And what I need to do, I'm not going to bore you with it, I'm going to do the same process for every single one of these plugins and replace every single one. And then I'm going to go back out and do it for all my themes. There's only two, the parent and the child, so it should be pretty straightforward. And then I'm going to check in my uploads folders, because quite often things are put in the uploads folders. And this one here, we see a timestamp of February 2nd, which we just saw a moment ago could be the day that something bad happened. So let's open this folder. And that directory is empty, and that one is empty, so apparently not much happened, but there was a timestamp, there's a change in there, so something must have happened. So the host might have pulled a file out of there already, because when we saw the quarantine earlier, they actually had a bunch of files in there, so they could have pulled one from there. But either way, we go step by step and update everything. What we don't want to do is go into our WordPress dashboard and start deleting things and then reinstalling them, because quite often when you delete plugins and themes, it deletes their data from the database. And then you have to reconfigure it or rebuild whatever that plugin had built for you. Whereas if you upload the new plugin files into here, it doesn't affect the database because the plugin's not actually being deleted. You're uploading a new version, and you're deleting the old version of the plugin, but the database remains unaffected by that. And so that's why I upload them this way instead of doing it through the dashboard. And also, you may not even have access to the dashboard until a certain point. So updating the plugins this way might be the only way to go. Another thing to keep in mind, if you're doing this for a client, they're going to call you saying their website's compromised, they want your help. What you need to tell them is, okay, I'm going to get started as soon as I can, possibly right away, but don't go visiting your site every 5 minutes because it might get worse before it gets better. Because once the site, we had the suspended message, but then once the site is reactivated by the host, you don't really know what you're going to find. If the host is thorough, they're going to check for you before they reactivate it, but it could redirect you to a pornographic website. It could redirect you to anywhere, really. It could download malware to someone's computer. So you don't want your client sitting on the site refreshing and then calling you every 5 minutes about it. So what you need to tell them is it might get worse before it gets better. So don't go there and refresh it all the time. I'm going to do the fixes tonight at nighttime when you have the lowest amount of traffic, or whatever you need to do to figure that out. Just get them to not go there and not call you every 5 minutes. Tell them that you will call them when it's done. I learned all this the hard way, so I'm dropping gold nuggets here for you. Make sure you set expectations. Tell them you will call them when it's done. And then give them some kind of indication how long it'll take. A couple hours is usually the longest that it should take. Either way, that is how we unsuspend and clean up a hacked site and make backups of everything just in case something goes wrong. We can revert back to our backup.
So that's how we do it. I hope this video helps you. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you hit subscribe, then the bell icon so you don't miss anything. Check out the private Facebook group and the link in the description down below. And next up, check out one of these videos that popped up on the right-hand side so you can get even better at WordPress. And until next time, keep crushing it, and I will see you in the next video.